Welcome back for another freelance copywriting tutorial. I'm Lex DeVille, your villain host, and if you haven't seen the most recent two tutorial videos, make sure you go back and watch those. We talked about some really cool stuff the last couple of days. Yesterday was specifically about choosing a type of copywriting, and you choose a type of copywriting because that makes it very easy to be perceived as a specialist, which also translates to an expert, even if you're not necessarily an expert yet. Something I don't remember mentioning in the video yesterday was that when you choose a single type of copywriting to specialize in, that actually makes copywriting easier for you because you only have one thing that you need to learn. You can focus on just learning one thing and being really good at that, that's why it makes it so easy for you to get that foot in the door. Today we're talking about something a little bit different. We want to get into the weeds of copywriting, and before we do that, I want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Subscribe, click the little notification bell, make sure you turn on notifications if you want more of these copywriting tutorials. Like this video, please. Also, it helps me to make more of these videos. All right, so going forward, we're getting into the weeds of copywriting today. And by that, I just want to give you a simple approach to actually get started and write good copy. One of the biggest hurdles for all new copywriters is that you have all of these reasons, these excuses why you can't do this, why you're not worth being paid for copywriting services. It can be things like your English is terrible, or you don't know style, or you're not good at metaphors or influence and persuasion. You don't know all of the copywriting techniques. You barely know what copywriting is. You don't know how to tell a story. You don't know how to write in direct response style. All of these different things can come into play. Maybe you just don't know how to do all of the different types. How do I actually approach writing copy so that what I write always turns out good? It always is what the client wants. We talked in the first day, in day one's tutorial, about how you are going to write for simplicity, for clarity, and in your personal voice and style, because if you do that, the client is already going to like your style if they reach out to you or whenever you put your copywriting in front of them. That's one way to filter clients in, and that is an easy way to attract the right people. But you actually have to write for these people at some point. And so how I do that, it's the easiest thing ever. I mean, I don't even need to be an expert for this. So what I do is, client says, I need this. I want you to write my website, and I want it to be like this. Here's what I want. They're going to tell you what they want from your copywriting. And my goal as a copywriter is not to get that right on the first try. I don't ever get it right on the first try, and that is why I have revision rounds. So when I start to write copy, I don't have to know what I'm going to say. I don't have to have some specialized persuasive approach. I don't have to know all the stories or anything. I don't even have to be able to achieve the voice and style or anything that the client wants. Instead, what I do is I tell the client up front, usually on a live call, I say, okay, here is how my process works. I'm going to try my best to write what you want. I'm going to do everything in my power to give you what you want. I'm going to put it on the page, and then I'm going to send you a first draft. I call it a first draft. You can call it just a draft or whatever you want to call it, but I say I will send you a first draft. And you're going to look at that draft, and you are going to tell me this is complete shit. And then that's what I want. I want the client to tell me that. And so I let them know that they're going to have a chance to go into Google Docs, which is what I use, and make comments all over this document. They're going to get the draft, and they're going to make comments. And I want them to tell me everything that they think sucks. Tell me all of that stuff. Say, this has got to go. I hate this. Get rid of all of this. And I also tell them that I need them to tell me what doesn't suck. What do you want more of? Show me, give me a comment to let me know what is right, what is good, so that I can get rid of the stuff that you don't like, and so that I can add more of the stuff that you do like. And clients love this, and you can limit your revision rounds. So this is a question people always have because they're afraid, and some freelancers have a situation where they end up doing countless revision rounds, revision. You don't want that either. So I tell my clients, I offer a first draft plus 2 revision rounds. And in that first revision round, like when I send the draft, they're going to make as many comments as they want, make all the comments in the world that you want, and then send it back to me. My first revision is going to be where I clean up most of that stuff. And by the time I send that first revision round back to the client, now the copy is pretty much what they want because they've now told me exactly what they want and exactly what they don't want. And all I had to do was just get rid of the stuff that they didn't want and add some more of the stuff that they do want. Once we get to the second revision round, like I send the first revision round document, now they go back in and they make more comments. And we're leveraging psychology a little bit here too, because they already feel like you are a professional. I mean, if they're reaching out to you and you've already done the steps that we talked about in the other tutorials, you've set yourself up as having this personal voice. You've already filtered the client in. You've positioned yourself as not necessarily an expert, but as a specialist. So that is a professional. And now you've established that this is how you operate. So you are making yourself more of a professional by saying a draft and then 2 revision rounds, no more. And we want to limit them to that because we want them to feel like by making a bunch of requests after they've already made all of these requests in the first draft, if they're making a bunch more requests, that starts to add a psychological pressure for the client because they don't want to be seen. This comes down to how they want to be seen. We're like digging into the core of their identity here. They don't want to be seen as a time waster. They don't want to be seen as unprofessional or like a valueless person. So for the first round, they have all the freedom in the world to give you all the comments, and they don't feel any psychological pressure. But now that you've given them exactly what they want, you've taken out all the stuff they said they don't want, you've added in the stuff they said they do want. They did this. They told you what they wanted. So now you hand it back to them. They shouldn't have very many more suggestions. Now, sometimes they will have a few suggestions, but it doesn't matter because they only get 2 free revision rounds. So once they send that first revision round back with additional comments, by the time you clean that up and you return it with more of the stuff that they want and get rid of the stuff that they don't want from that first revision round, your second and final revision round should be perfect or close enough to perfect based on what the client has stated that they want, that your copywriting for them should be amazing no matter what it is, no matter how effective it is, no matter how you've written it or anything. Because we've already gone through this filtering process. We've brought them in. We've specialized in this one type. And each time you work for a client in that one type of copy, you'll, of course, get experience and improve and grow. So you'll bring that into each new project. And now we are establishing more professionalism with these draft rounds. And this is how you're going to write really good copy very easily. And I'm judging good. Remember, we're not writing conversion copy right now. At least I would not recommend you start that way. When you're not writing conversion copy, then how do you measure what good copy is? Well, with freelance copywriting, I measure it based on, does the client feel like they got something that they're satisfied with? Is the client satisfied with my creation? And so I have this process that moves them toward satisfaction and also helps me give them something that they can feel good about. This is helping me to deliver value for them as much as it is simplifying the process for me of moving them through the copywriting process to have a good outcome for both of us. So we're just talking about drafts here. You don't have to know what to write. You don't have to be good at all of these different styles of writing. You can ask the client, and this is one of the things that I do before we move into actually writing copy. Whenever we are on a call or sometimes in messaging chat, like if you're on Upwork, I'll ask the client, do you have any examples or can you provide some examples for me of copywriting that you like? So I don't have to go do all the research. I just have them go and find the examples. They do the work and then they bring that to me. And then I say, okay, I'll try to write like this. I try to mimic that style that they brought me if they don't want my personal style. But then whenever I'm done, I just deliver that draft. Give them a draft, let them mark it up, let them say it sucks, let them know that they are going to think it sucks. We're like priming them. On the call, we're saying, you are going to think that my copywriting sucks. So you, as a copywriter, may already think your copywriting sucks. we're overcoming that objection for the client up front by letting them know it sucks so that they're already prepared for it to suck. And then we also explain how we're going to improve from that suck state. So they get it, it sucks, they mark it up, they tell us what they hate, they tell us what they love. We get rid of the stuff they hate, we add more of what they love based on their own comments, and then we go through the 2 revision rounds, add that psychological pressure, and the outcome is that the client feels like they've got a great product. And it is great because it is their own product, essentially. It is what they've told you that they wanted. And this whole process is really about clear communications when you break it down. We are just using an unconventional approach, or I don't know if I would even call it a unique approach, but a streamlined approach to getting clarity out of the client about what exactly it is that they want and will find value from us. And by the time we get to the end of that process, now we have this refined piece of copywriting that the client actually loves and is what they wanted because they gave us such detailed instruction about it. Okay, so that is my basic copywriting process. It's very simple. It's just this one approach to drafts and 2 revisions, limiting those revisions so you don't get caught up in endless revisions because you're a professional and professionals don't have time for all of those extra revision rounds. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know in a comment down below. I'm always happy to answer these questions, but this is a very simple approach to copywriting, and I think it overcomes most of those objections that you might have. You don't need to be a good writer. You don't need to be a good copywriter. You don't need to know a bunch of psychology or storytelling or metaphors or any of that stuff. You just need to be able to write something on the page and then deliver it and then take instructions from the client to help you clarify your messaging and give them more of what they want. That's going to be a big part of this entire puzzle for you. And if you just follow this approach, the outcome is going to be positive for everyone, for you, for the client, everyone involved. And this is going to help you make money really quickly as a copywriter and help you get experience. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm not sure what we'll talk about tomorrow, but I'm thinking probably tomorrow or in the next tutorial, whenever I put it out, will be some actual, let's look at the inner workings of what is on a page of copy. And we can start to look at things like headlines or just different things, calls to action, and how do you structure different pages maybe. I don't know. I haven't really planned this out. I just started making this tutorial, so wherever it goes is wherever it goes. And if you guys have anything that you specifically want me to talk about, you can drop that in a comment below as well. I'm always open to suggestions like that. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click those notification bells if you want to know when these tutorials come out. And please like this video if you enjoyed it so that we can help the channel grow, supports my channel, supports me in making more of these tutorials for you. All right, that's all I've got for this one. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Lex DeVille, and I will see you next time.